Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome to another Tuesday Get Out of Rap TV show. As you can see, a couple of things straight away. I'm Employee of the Month for February. I beat Hugo, and that was mainly because he chewed the remainder of my sliders in protest. So I'm really pleased. It's the first time I've won it. I hope to win many more. And I would also like to thank this show. I'm able to bring you this show today because of Sabio. So thank you to Sabio for indulging me and letting me just witter to you all. So, who is watching? Please do say hello. The show is nothing without you. It's just me in a little broom cupboard. So, yes, I know. Hi, Bev. Bev has been a massive part of the team leader community and has just announced on LinkedIn today her partnership with Marianne and Talk of the Devil. Marianne. So, Marianne and Bev are going to be fighting the good fight in our industry. Recount on Employee of the Month, please. It was close. It was very, very close. So, hello, Joe, mate. How you doing? Me and Joe look the same. Jules, the DJ. Slam Duggan's here as well. Good morning, Phil. Hi, Dave. How you doing? Good morning. And Nick, good morning. Hello, Josh. Hello, Simon, mate. How are you? Remember, everybody, connect with Simon. He's head of a contact center and he is looking for a new role and absolutely knows his stuff. Yes, Beth is here. Beth is one of the first members of the team leader community and is awesome. So, Beth, thank you very much for joining. You can chip in on a bit in a minute. Neris, hello, Neris. Neris isn't very well, so let's all send some get well soons to Neris. But thank you so much for joining. We're hoping that your illness doesn't stop you from smashing a few truth bombs like you have done in the past. Oh, it's Peter! Oh, is it snowing? I was very disappointed on my walk this morning that it wasn't snowy. So you're lucky. I expect to see a Viking like snowman later on, mate. Michelle, oh, workforce management extraordinaire. We used to work together many moons ago. I think I made Michelle's life a misery from ops. Gary, hello, mate. How are you? And Michael from Sigma. It's great to have you all here. Thank you so much. I will try and keep up with your comments. I know there's a bit of a lag and I've had some internet problems here, so do bear with me. But let's crack on. If you remember, for those of you that watched last week, we did a poll, and that's when I asked, what did you want to see more of in the. No comment. I like to think I just pushed the boundaries of what was possible between operations and WFM, but I've learned a lot more now. So I know that I was a bit of a nightmare. Hey up, mate. Dan from Nespresso. The people that keep me going. Nespresso. I love them. I've got an order in right now, actually, in fact, Dan. Jordan. Jordan is also part of the team leader community, works with Gary Gormley, and has also been adding loads of value in the community. And talking of adding value, none other than the pop up pirate, Barry Cooper, coaching expert. Barry, good morning. Right, where was I? Yes, we did a poll and I asked you guys what you wanted to see more of in the show, and that was more opinion pieces. So I'm going to start with one, and I'd love your input. So, this is something. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? So, whilst we have seen great improvements in technology, we have not seen the same improvement in customer service scores. Easy now. Here he is, the legend that is Chris Rainsforth. What a collection of super human beings we have on this call. I'm humbled by your presence, everyone. This is amazing. Uh Calm down, you're making me blush. Right, so let's get the ticker running. Have customer service scores or score, oh, poor grammar by me, sorry about that. Have they got better or worse? I think we can all see this huge improvement in the technology that exists around us, but most of the reports that are done and the stats show that we haven't seen the equivalent rise in customer service scores. So do you agree with that? Is that something that you can see when you're out in the industry? Does it relate to what you're doing, or do you disagree? Do you think actually we see that our scores are have got much better, and the technology has enabled us to do that because I think we can all see the benefits of technology that's far more readily available than we've ever had before. But you wanted some opinion pieces. My opinion is we haven't seen the same steep rise in customer service scores that you would expect from technology, and I wonder why. What do you think? Now, with the brains that we have on this call, I'm expecting some. I'm expecting big things from you all. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Talk to me. Because I think if we are using technology correctly, we should see an improvement in customer service, CSAT scores, and things like that. But is it partly because our customers are us, and we've all been through the mill a bit? We have higher expectations, so we maybe have a bit of fatigue when it comes to surveys and things like that. So we just a harder audience these days? Let's have a look. Marianne, we have seen great improvement in tech, but so many times it does not work well and is clunky, which just frustrates people more and more. Really good point, Marianne. I guess is that talks to that if we have great technology, we have to make sure it is aligned. Um, Measure bot interactions separately to human ones to see the difference. Humans take on more complexity than bots. Great point. Great point. I think you need to just amend your settings so I can see. We can all see who you are. I can't hear, so just please let me know who you are, because that is a lovely point. But that's the point. It's not being used correctly at times. Jordan, I feel convenience encourages comfort, and comfort develops bad habits with agent behavior. Really interesting, mate. Really, really interesting. Nick, technology is extremely important, but good tech doesn't turn bad processes into a great experience. What a great sentence, Nick, that is. Technology is extremely important, but good tech doesn't turn bad processes into a great experience. If we skill our people, they make up for bad processes and legacy tech. So we're asking our people to deal with more complex processes, more complex tech, and they filling in the gaps. Really good point. There's something here, isn't there, that is around getting your customer journey fully lined up. The customer, oh, there you go. Josh, the customer journey is everything. Sometimes implementing change and new tech overcomplicates things for the end user. Very true. And I guess with an aging population, we've got an ever increasing number of customers that you would count and they would count themselves as vulnerable. We've just got to make sure we don't leave people behind. Here comes Bev. The customer service scores are depressed in the same industry sectors that have always come bottom: telco, ISPs, utilities. It's a factor of their size and dominance and their propensity to drive down cost through automation and dare I say, offshoring. Really good point. I think some of those things around utilities, they're on a hiding to nothing at the moment, aren't they? Our people are as important, if not more so, than the tech for me. They're the ones that make it all real for our customers. So true. My daughter finds this topic hilarious. It seems good. This is a little bit like a children's TV show anyway, with my backdrop. It's like the Philip Schofield's own old broom cupboard. Here comes Chris. Buckle up, everyone. Technology is always ahead of the operational design. Operational design typically lags behind, I would estimate, at around 5 years. People try to make generational leaps rather than stepping stones. The deployment of tech becomes hard and we revert to type. Operational design should be the starting point, and then the tech should be deployed to support best practice, not deploy tech to drive best practice. That, Chris, that's why you've just evidenced in one foul swoop you have a bigger brain than me, because so true, and it kind of shoots down my statement. Although my statement is kind of meant to drive this type of discussion, right? Really excellent point. So this is kind of the forward ground, the kind of disruptive cutting, cut. I love it. I'm trying to keep up here. So the challenge for me from Simon is that there is still way too many disparate systems for customers and agents to use. And while you might have one amazing platform at the front, it isn't linked well with key systems like CRM. So the great experience isn't fully realized. And it is, Simon, it's a great point. It is worth saying that there are some companies that have got this done. They have worked out the alignment between utilizing great technology, getting the customer journey right, bringing their operational teams all the way through that journey right from the outset, and they're delivering great customer service and experience. Neris, the transformation needs to start with process, not technology. I work with too many customers who are scratching their heads on this point. There are too many CTOs throwing tech at the wall, thinking it will be their golden nugget. Very, very true. It's not the silver bullet, is it? It can't be the silver bullet in isolation. And it's interesting, isn't it? The customers that you deal with, Neris, are kind of thinking, what's going on? We've got this great technology. Why are we not seeing the equivalent massive increase in how our customers are responding? It's all right, Barry. I was famous in some of my teams for having sausage like fingers and completely mangling emails and texts. So I forgive you, mate. And you are looking svelte these days, buddy. You need to change your profile picture to reflect the fact you look like something out of Vikings now. Absolutely. This should start at the process end. The journey should be designed and developed by operational people that are putting their people and their customers first, not the IT people putting the tech first. We all wondered where you were, Danny. It isn't a show without you. I am kind of here on a train with Britain's best network. Everyone can guess which network that is. You are more than welcome, Barry. Hard work is paying off, mate. Large tech companies spend billions on R&D. When did we last spend that on improving operations? It costs that to stay inefficient, firefight, and bemoan poor CX. But when we do spend, we throw money at the latest complex solution, not proper fixes of operational friction. Do you know what this technology needs here for this show? Is like applause emojis, because that's great, Pete. That is brilliant. And in fact, when you think about it, certainly in my experience, operations, you were told to cut costs. You certainly don't get to spend money on improvement. Um, Nick, the tech vendors are doing a great job of moving fast, marketing and selling well. However, how customer service works in organizations generally needs progressive thinking to get it into the right place to put in place. The organization needs to genuinely care about CX and not just say the words. Very true. Surely it starts with purpose. What are we trying to achieve? Then what's the process? Then what's the tech? Really good point, Danny. And I wonder if that relates back to Neris's point as well, where we have people that are. Do you feel that C-level people often have FOMO, their fear of missing out, because they go to some of these dinners and events and hear their peers talking about they've got this new kit, it's amazing, and then they think, oh, we need to get some of that, and it's bought arbitrarily without it being well considered and well thought out. Um, really good points, everybody. I need to find a better way of capturing all of your comments and sharing them in the newsletter, because I think so many people will benefit from what you're saying. Please do keep these points coming in. Um, welcome your comments, and we can refer back to them all the way through the show. Now, I'm very lucky. Unexpectedly, there's at least four people from the team leader community on at the moment. I just wanted to give you an update of the top three. Well, they're three topics. They're not the top three. These are three topics we've been talking about in the TL community. That is managing your workload, asking the right questions, and managing poor performance. Oh, hold on. Let me just go back to Phil. Organizations, hello, Phil, mate. Organizations still look to tech to replace personal service rather than enhance it. Really good point. Really good point. So please do chip in, Beth and Jordan. I just captured three of the things. Like I mentioned in a video yesterday, I am loving the team leader community. I'm so lucky that I get to engage with people like Beth and Jordan and many others, and Barry and Bev. And it's been, Bev mentioned to me the other day, it's kind of humbling to see what people are having to do as team leaders in our industry. Do you remember the old game Buckaroo, where you had the donkey and you were just layering it up with bags and then it flew them off when it reached a certain point? If you are responsible for team leaders now, please do think about what you're asking them to do, because managing the workload is definitely a hot topic in our community. We have been talking about that a lot. Um, we have amazing professionals in these team leader and team manager positions that want to do well for their team, for you, for their companies, and they take on a lot of work. And we just need to help them prioritize. We just need to tell them, if you can't do everything, this one thing will make a difference today. Please focus on that. Asking the right questions and managing performance. So, Beth and Jordan, please do comment if I've missed the mark here or there's anything else that we've been chatting about. If you would like your team leaders to join, or you would like to join yourself, you're more than welcome. Get your phones ready and scan that QR code, and you too can come and join the community. Thanks, Jordan. I haven't paid Jordan to, to say this. We've had some lovely chats. Perfect community for a very experienced think tank, especially when you're unsure of which direction to go. Oh, thank you, mate. So, if you would like to join, please do let me know. Let me go back to some of your comments on. So, I want to make sure I capture them all. Danny, I've seen people be distracted by the latest tech and treated it as a solution, looking for a problem. Very true. Marianne, tech should be an enabler. The important part is the actual communication, whether it is verbal, written, or digital. Very true again. Hey, Lance. Hey, Martin. Great topic. When I work with operations and try to understand efficiency gaps, I look at people, processes, and systems, tech essentially. This holistic view provides insights that, if actioned, will improve CX within a short time frame. Tech is part of the solution, not the only solution. Thank you. Fergan Mantra 7, do less better. If you want to know all of the mantras, then listen to the podcast, Get Out of Rap with Danny. It was illuminating. I feel like I need to adopt some of these mantras, mate. I love it that it gives us so many different options to tackle the things we have in front of us. Such a great community. Thank you very much, Barry. Here it is again. If you want to come in and jump in, the water's warm. We're having fun. It's a great community, and I would love to have you there. But thank you very much. And Beth, for me, it's a sense of community, but also being held accountable and following through with coaching sessions that can quickly fall down the priority list with so much going on. Beth has been a shining light on. We have an accountability meeting where we share our goals, and Beth has been smashing it out of the park and really kind of being a role model for us all on getting things done. I have my own goals, and I think, well, Beth is doing hers, so better make sure I do my own. So it's lovely that you've joined this show as well. Okay, now then, if you remember, we've been doing the Contact Babel read along. Contact Babel's 400 and something report about our industry is amazing. I love it. I have no partnership with them, by the way. I just think it's great. But we're all super busy. So I have been going through it chapter by chapter, and I'm going to take you through the latest chapters. I'm not qualifying these, we're going through it. So the next one was about headsets and noise. And after that is QA. So, Peter, I know you're on, you'll be interested in this, but let's start with headsets. Here are the headsets used by the respondents in Contact Babels, and we know that they go out and survey hundreds and hundreds of contact centers, and you can see that Poly and Plantronics lead the way, followed by GN, Netcom, Jabra, and then Sennheiser, and then other. And generally speaking, the verbiage all around this was that this has been the picture for a while. And as we'll see from the next slide, that the problem of ambient noise by contact center size, as you can see, very few report it as a major problem. Based on the size of the contact center, medium-sized contact centers 46% report it as a minor problem. But the vast majority, you can see the overall average is that 58% say it is not a problem. And that is an example of where technology is helping us because of noise cancelling technology being far more readily available, that it doesn't seem to be as much of an issue. So this next bit, I'll be honest, this wasn't my favorite chapter. Yeah, okay, headsets. But this was interesting because here is a stat in this part that I think you're going to use a lot, all of you. So, what is the cost of mishearing, the unnecessary cost of mishearing? Using figures from this report and other Contact Babel research, it is possible to estimate the industry-wide cost of mishearing. This is a stat I found amazing. Inbound calls per year in our industry, 6.26 billion. Now, please tell me if I've got that wrong. BN2, that's billion, right? It could, please, if I'm wrong, otherwise I'm going to use that. So, if 10% of calls require a sentence repetition, 626 million calls, assumed length of call due to repetition is 15 seconds. The average call duration is 432 seconds. Therefore, 3.5% of the call is repetition. Where the mean average cost per inbound call is £6.26, the cost of time spent on repetition is 21.9 pence per call. Therefore, theoretically, industry-wide cost of repetition is £137 million per year. So some big numbers there. I'm hoping that I've read that right, because isn't it staggering to think that our industry deals with 6.26 billion inbound calls per year? I know that's a stat I'm going to use. Before we go on to QA, so let's go back. I need to be accountable for not missing those on Monday. Missed the last two. Well, Barry, come on, mate. We'll let you off this time. Neris, I just want to go to this one. Latest tech. I'm talking a lot about RTIG at the moment. Real-time interaction guidance. Thank you. I didn't know what that was. I understand the value and use case for pulling knowledge assets in front of the advisors to help them. But what does the community think about slow down, demonstrate active listening? Instinctively, I think this would be a horrible thing to have in real time, but the vendors love it. What are the thoughts of team leaders? Well, Beth and Jordan please do answer. And I will ask that in the community as well, Neris, where just to get, let me check I've got this right. In real time, advisors are getting notes to say, slow down, demonstrate active listening. It reminds me of a little bit, when people used to come into your ear and say you've missed a point, and as an agent, it completely threw me. It ruined the conversation for me. It's like having a TV producer talking to you, I imagine. It just disrupted my flow. But absolutely, we'll ask that question, Neris. During COVID, working from home, customers understood background noise. Do we feel that's changed with the return to office? Great question, Danny. I'm all ears on that one. Active noise cancellation has become far more affordable over the past 5 years. You no longer have to spend £200 to get access. Great feature in our environments and borne out by the research, mate. So very, very true. Let me crack on. Who does QA? Sorry, it's a bit blurred, but who does QA? Then we're on an interesting section now, and I'm only going to do 2 slides because there's a lot more on QA. Who does QA? The vast majority, regardless of whether it's large, medium, or small, team leaders, supervisors, line managers are undertaking QA in our industry. Now, I'm going to hold fire on my counsel here because I'd love Pete to step in. You can see the next biggest group, certainly for the large contact centers, is dedicated quality teams, then coaches, then a compliance team. But I found that staggering. I think this points to a huge opportunity because, and there wasn't a distinction in the text, by the way, as to whether team leaders are doing it because it gives them data to be able to coach, or they're doing it because they have to fill in, or they are the only people doing the QA, because I think that's an important distinction. But Peter, if you're still on, you've got to have some thoughts on that, and I would welcome everyone else's thoughts. Is this a healthy state of affairs for our industry where we have team leaders being the people that are doing our QA? I am missing some comments here. Is that an audio prompter on the screen? It dials on a screen and they move like a temperature gauge. Wow. Personally, if the KPIs are changed, then I agree, but they rush to hit KPIs. I find building relationship with customers to give time to feedback develops better experiences. It helps develop a path of least resistance, but does take a little longer. Not massively, though. Nice high-level analysis of the cost of mishearing. Relating it to the pounds will get attention, but linking this back to the earlier tech question, what about those repetitions affecting the employee and customer experience? Really good point, Nick. Really good point. So, comments here on, is it right that team leaders are the ones doing all of the QA, certainly based on Contact Babel's report, that they have, other than in the large contact centers, a dedicated quality team? Do you, in your center right now, have someone dedicated to QA? It's a massive, massive area. And are we just asking too much of our... Here we go. Like Danny said earlier, start with purpose and understand desired outcomes, work on how that's delivered. Okay, Pete, what do you think of this? And everyone else, sorry, I'm not just talking to Peter. I just don't see him as much these days. So, the effectiveness of quality assurance. The greatest use of QA output, according to Contact Babel's research, is evaluating agent performance and training requirements. Then we have enabling regulatory compliance and auditing. Then insight used in the contact center. Insight used to improve internal processes and metrics. Insight used to improve customer experience, and insight used in the rest of the organization. decreasing going down there. That for me has the word opportunity written all over it. I know because of BPA, where I worked previously, if you can flip this around or improve the insight section, you can massively improve so much in your contact center, in your organization, for customers, for employees. Yet we are still using it just to, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with evaluating agent performance and training requirements. It is that is just a bulk standard. We should be doing a lot more. Team managers need to be in tune with the quality of calls. If you're listening, you may as well QA the calls. I completely agree, Mike. What I'm saying is that they shouldn't be the only ones that are doing it. QA evaluation in the next 5 years, I suspect 80% will be done by AI, and then TL's left to simply coach on moving the dial to improvement. Really interesting, Neris. I think TLs are often the best place to do QA. Assuming they have sufficient time to dedicate to this, they can work on the overall employee rather than just their call performance in isolation. It absolutely, Phil, is true. But where I think we have to be really careful is if you're asking team leaders, and I see this in the team leader community, if you're asking team leaders to do all of the QA, that's too much. If you're asking them to do QA, to Michael's point, to stay in tune, to your point, to understand what your agents, your team members are doing, and this is the job, right? So you should analyze it. Absolutely, you should. But they shouldn't be the ones that the entire contact center relies on to do everything. That says it all. Very true, Bev. Danny, it depends if you think QA compliance or genuine quality. Yeah, there's a nice distinction to make. It doesn't matter who does QA if it's aligned, calibrated, and purposeful. In reality, all too often, QA is another task on a TL tick list. It's yes/no adherence focused, misaligned to operational and strategic objectives. It doesn't produce useful insight and is regarded as a necessary evil and cost. Very true, Pete. Marco, Jetmir and Draj. Do you like my pronunciation? I've been practicing, buddy. It's a balanced approach on the QA element. TLs need to understand competency levels within their team. It almost works as a training needs analysis. Very true. I think the question here should be on the volumes. Agree. If 100% of QA has been marked by TLs, there will be a significant gaps on engagement, leadership activities due to time constraints. Tech support teams are the answer. We're seeing the same in a recent survey we completed. This is from Chris at the forum. It can drive risk, especially if linked to performance incentives. Are team leaders going to be objective? Will they show bias if it impacts delivery of their targets? Do they have the time to analyze trends, identify training needs, etc., etc.? Are they doing enough to mitigate risk of compliance service failure? We're talking about this very point on our quality improvement and networking group this afternoon. Chris, please do let people know if they can join, or you will be giving some feedback as a result. Thanks, Phil, mate. I believe quality should not be done by TMs. TM should be coaching. It's different. It should be done independently, and then the QA works with the TM and their teams. The TM and QA should be doing call calibrating to be fully aligned. That, really good point, Marianne. Really good point. It's how you utilize your teams and what you're asking them to do. And we are seeing that in the team leader community very much so. RTLs do QA. Hi, Simmer. Simmer's lovely. RTLs do QA for their teams daily, but we also have a QA department with dedicated QAs per campaign. We see real value in TLs doing QA alongside dedicated QAs, offers real insight for the TL, which enables them to really hone in and make the necessary changes, improvements, positive reinforcement quickly. Agility is key here. QA goes through a feedback process and can take longer. I think both add value. I've just seen Phil. Hugo has a valid opinion by the sounds of it. He's still very bitter about not getting Employee of the Month, mate. So, yeah. Never work with children and animals on live TV. Although Hugo is the star of the show, really, isn't he? Um, I think TL should do some QA calls as it keeps them close to the customers. However, I believe the majority of their role, and this is from Simon, 80% is all about engagement, development, and support of their people. Very true, mate. Beth, we have our dedicated QAers, but as a TL, I tried to approach it as a core calibration session. This is what Marianne was saying, wasn't it, Beth? What do they think went well? How could they improve the customer experience? But then targets driven from the QA scorecard to close the loop. And Beth is at the Cotswold Company and works with Dan Fretwell as well, and is an amazing team leader. Nick, if separated from TLs, QA can be extended a little to become a source of rich insight into what brings customers to call chat. This enables processes to be fixed and the CX improve. Also improves the experience of employees. Now, stay tuned. Join me next week where there's a lot more in the QA section. And just based on these comments and Hugo's involvement, QA is will start next week in the Contact Babel audiobook. We'll finish the QA section. I'm not sure what's coming up next, but that for me is a massive opportunity. And also, I think if we get into maybe just make a note of that, because maybe we get into in the word insight. It's a real buzzword, certainly from the world of QA, and I imagine for anyone dealing with customers and data, insight is a key word, but everyone's understanding of it, in my experience, has been a little bit different. So we could absolutely explore that, because this graph shows me that there is a huge opportunity for us to make improvements in our contact centers through the better use of insight via QA. So some great conversations, everybody. Thank you so much. Now, as we come to the close, let me just signpost you to three amazing people. Nishma Parekh, Iram Latif, and Phil Collins are all looking for roles. They're all professionals within our industry. If you are not connected with them on LinkedIn, please do so. If you spot any of them, so Nishma's in the south of England, Iram is up in Blackburn area, and Phil is in Southend. So please do connect with them. I think we did a forum webinar with Chris Rainsworth on this as well. High maturity QA surfaces issues in interactions, systems, and processes, reduces customer journey friction, and saves money through better first call resolution. But like any part of an operation, it needs support and investment. So true, Peter, mate. Now then, finally, before I let you go, I talked about this on a video last year. It's coming. The Contact Center Campfire is coming. It's going to be a brand new event for our industry. I was talking to some people yesterday about this, and we are proceeding. So, would you like to know more? If you would like to know more, just drop me a DM or send me an email. It's martin@getoutofrap.com. But it's coming. We can continue some of these types of conversations around the campfire. Bring your own marshmallows. Well, they might be provided, but it's coming this summer. I'd love to see you there. I'm not sure of spaces and things like that, but it's going to be something a bit different. And if you would like to come around the campfire, bring a guitar, we'll sing some folk songs, but we'll generally have a good time. I just wanted to let you know I hadn't forgotten some of the messages that I've been getting saying what is happening with the campfire. Well, we're going to be doing it. It's going to be happening in the summer when the weather's nicer, and I hope you can join me if you wanna come along. Wow, what a great conversation we've had today. I can't thank you enough for joining. I hope you before I go, Marco. Oh, we have exciting ops manager role opening up our Newcastle CEO, reporting to the amazing Steph O'Leary. In case you know anyone, Marco, great. Thanks for using this, mate. Yeah, look, get in touch with Marco if you are looking for a role. Now, Marianne, I know you were one of the people saying, "What's happened to the campfire?" And it was very true. Thank you for keeping me honest. And I definitely will love to have the Welsh Wizard there. Where and when I'm going. Train shouldn't be too long from Manchester. We will choose somewhere that is good for everybody. I can play air guitar. That'll do. You can be on a DJ deck, Jules. So, everybody, thank you so much for giving up some of your time. I really appreciate it. The conversations have been amazing. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will, I love saying this. See you next Tuesday, everybody. Thank you very much. And take care of yourselves.